Hey, welcome back to the Crystal City Witches podcast. This is episode 4, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to get into our origin stories, and today I think it would be beautiful if Jax kicks us off, but I do have some questions for you too about your origin story because I'm curious as well. But just for a first question that I'm really curious about, what got you started with working with crystals? Like, what called you to that?
Oh, I love this. Yeah. So thank you for our beautiful intro, and I'm really excited to talk about this. I've kind of always been the kid that likes rocks, and shiny rocks at that. I think my first crystal might have been either an amethyst or a clear quartz. And I think I was gifted it. I really honestly don't remember because I was so young, and I've just kind of always had like that inkling to work with them and use them. And it's something that I really started to ramp up as I got older, and I kind of, really awakened and started really getting into tune with crystals. So they've kind of always been, near and dear to my heart, but they definitely have found more of an influence in recent years. Yeah.
I love that. I adore that. Crystals are so, I'm like you, like, I like pretty rocks and crystals and stuff, like, and I've always liked them. So I always thought that was really cool. And when I found like amethyst and rose, the very basic crystals that basically everyone knows about, I was so excited. Like, I just think that's so cool. Something I do really want to ask you is, life goes through its motions. We go through all these changes, but what continues to keep you so passionate towards working with crystals?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I just feel like they're deeply connected to me. I feel like they're a part of my spirit. There's no separating them from me. I Even if I'm not actively working with them, or I'm, you know, not using them all of the time, they're just always a part of me. They're always there. And the more I learn about them, the more interested I become and the more fascinated I become. So it's just kind of this always evolving relationship, and this always constant relationship that I have with them. Of course it started with all the like the basic ones, that everybody knows about, like you said, the amethyst, the rose quartz, the clear quartz,
Mhm.
and then you start finding more obscure ones, like bumblebee jasper and larimar and, moldavite, and you're like, oh, these are really cool. Can't wait to start working with these. And just the more you learn about them, the more excited you get, and it's definitely like an intuitive process. So you might be drawn to one crystal over another at different points in your life, because, like you said, it's always life is always evolving and always changing. So one crystal that you might have used a few years ago might not be the same one that you use all the time, but it maybe you may have one crystal that's always constant in your life too. So it just depends. It's a very intuitive process. It's a very, like close-knit relationship that I have with crystals. I can't ever get away from them. They're part of me. I love them. They're their own entities and their own beings. Um, and they hold, powerful energetic blueprints. They're powerful tools that have been crafted by the earth, and anyone can use them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%. That made me, I thought of another question to ask you. I do want to
Okay.
know, and I want to know, what is your favorite crystal?
Definitely amethyst. I've always loved that one. Um, it's it's one that's deeply connected to the psychic realms, and the ethereal, and so it works primarily with the third eye and the crown chakras, and is connected to the pineal gland. It helps with headaches. It helps with sleep. It allows you to, like have psychic, powers, or enhances those. It works with your intuition. It's just always a crystal that I've really liked, and purple's my favorite color, probably, for a reason. But I've always loved amethyst. It never gets old for me. Every time I see an amethyst, I'm like, oh, I've got to get it. I've got to get it. Even though I have like a gajillion, I
Gonna
still.
grab it. I love that. Amethyst is such a beautiful crystal. I love the color purple, so I'm biased. I have been sleeping with an amethyst crystal under my bed for like the last 2 weeks to help me get into that dream world. I'm also a Pisces moon. If anyone's into astrology and you guys were wondering, and you're also a Pisces moon, come tell me, we can be friends. But yeah, Pisces is very connected to the dream world, the 12th house, and astrology and all that. So I'm all like, oh, I love the dream world so much. If you could be addicted to dreaming, that's me. That's
Yeah,
me.
yeah, the
And
amethyst.
I do have I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. I wish I had it right now to show you.
Later, post it in your stories.
Later.
Later,
Oh, you're
yes.
right. You're right. Look at this, guys. Look at this. It's so pretty. I do have a question because I feel like there's gonna be some beginners or crystal newbies out there that probably want to know what would Jax recommend as a beginner crystal or crystals for someone.
Oh, yes, yeah, all my beginners. So I definitely recommend going into, a crystal shop that, um, you know, because let me preface, just give a warning. Some crystal shops um don't have sustainability and like good ethics in mind, or they don't know where their supplies are coming from. So definitely do your research into a crystal shop before you go and before you buy the product, because you want to make sure that the crystals that are being mined are coming from areas that are not exploited, that are coming from workers who are paid fairly for their work, and that are not being mistreated or abused, that will be imbued in the crystal's energy and kind of tarnish it a little bit. So you just want to be mindful about where you're getting your crystals from. Um, so that's first and foremost. Just be mindful about where you're getting your crystals. And then just go into a store or browse online and see what calls to you, because like I said, it's a very intuitive process. Like, I can't give just, oh, you have to get this crystal. But if I did have to pick, just one to start with, if you have never owned a crystal before, if you really want to get into it, clear quartz is going to be the one that I think everybody should start off with. It's called the Master Healer. It can be used for anything. This is my clear quartz that I use primarily. It can be programmed for any purpose, so you can use it for anything that you need it to do. It's an all in one, basically. So if you're gonna start with just one, and there's not really one that's like calling to you, start with the clear quartz is what I've got to say. Yeah.
Ooh, I love clear quartz. So pretty, so smooth.
Yes, I know. It's got like this amazing inside that's just like, oh, just gorgeous. Oh, very pretty. Yes, very
I
nice.
love
Yeah.
them. I just adore them so much. They're so pretty.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
may I ask you, like, how long have you been running your business?
So I've been running the Amethyst Circle since 2021. So I just did 3 years that I've been doing this. And I run it very intuitively. So, like, different phases of life and different things that are going on, different seasons, and I slow it down, scale it back a little bit, because, the summertime is the time for, being a little bit more driven. There's a lot of energies present that are more active. And then winter is kind of, a little bit more time to like reflect and rest and, really sink into the inner world. So I operate on that a little bit. Of course, I still take clients year round, but it's definitely a different way of operating that I do. During the summer, I'm a little bit more active and proactive and energized, and during the winter, I'm a little bit more reflective and process oriented. Yeah.
I really love how you answered that, and I love how you run your business intuitively because I do the same. I'm really big on I don't want to overwork. I want to work. I don't want to overwork. I didn't start a business to continue with the work practices that I did from previous jobs, 9 to 5s or 16-hour shift jobs or stuff. Like, I refuse to work like that ever again. So working intuitively is such like, it's so beautiful. I was going to say it's a beautiful concept, but it's not even a concept. It's like, it's our life.
Yep.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like, having that freedom to, take clients on the schedule that you want to and do things in the way that you want to is so freeing and so powerful and so beautiful. But yeah, I love that for us. But yeah, tell me more about you, your background, how you got into doing your business, and just yeah, tell me all about you. Yeah, let's do it.
So I was gonna say, hi, I'm Ariana. Wait, we know who I am already. Okay, so I was gonna say I was born on this day. That's my origin story. So basically, since I was a small child, I was really into like divination, psychics, the elements, crystals. Well, back then it was less crystals. It was literally just smooth rocks that I was finding, which is fine. I would say no, because I was going to say I would pretend to control the elements. That was real to me, and it's still real to me, okay? Um, but basically, I took all of that and I did nothing with it. I ended up just going to normal school. I went to university. I was studying psychology. And then I decided I'm going to drop out. Why not? Let's just drop out. We have 11 classes until we get our bachelor's. Why not? So I dropped out and I started a business in 2020. It all kind of worked out because, we had a global pandemic. I couldn't leave the house. I needed something to do. I love helping other people, so I just needed to find a new way to go about doing that. So starting originally my business was My Venus Soul, but I rebranded last year. I think it was last year. I rebranded last year. I was My Venus Soul for almost 5 years. Now I'm the Golden Venusian, which is way more like it resonates more with me now. But in terms of like, let's say in terms of like work, I've lived a lot of lives. I've worked at a lot of places. I've worked at many dispensaries. I've worked at the caregivers union, where I got to help like I got to help tons of people there. And I was doing that for a few years actually. I worked for DirecTV and AT&T, you know? So I've just kind of been all over the place, and now I'm just like, you know what? I love what I do and I don't want to stop what I'm doing.
Yes, absolutely,
I love
absolutely.
it.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I've held a lot of
Same.
different jobs in my life too, but yeah, there's something that's, it brings all of our experiences working, like normie jobs bring a lot of, skill and information into what we're doing now. And I think too, kind of something you said about, you know, like helping other people, where you got to, care for other people. I want to know more about that. Tell me more about that.
Okay, okay, so previous job that I worked, I was an intern. I'm not gonna put out, I don't think I'll put out the company name because it's kind of big, but I did work there for the caregivers union. I was able to help marginalized communities, help them get the rights that they need, help them make sure that that they're able to take care of their family members through this caregiving union, because honestly our current administration does want to get rid of the caregivers union, which would ultimately destroy the caregivers. And then that would make it difficult for these people to be able to take care of their families. And that's how people end up in nursing homes, essentially, which is what was going on before. So it felt really good to be able to assist these people with this and really build like really strong connections with people. I thought it was like really beautiful and really powerful. And that also brings me to talking about what's going on currently. Like me and Jax are both from Los Angeles. So I do want to bring this up, what's going on with ICE and immigration and with our current president and the things that are happening. I don't stand behind this. We don't stand behind this. Like it goes against everything that I stand for personally. It goes against everything that I've worked for, like even in past like work experiences and stuff. And it truly does break my heart to see what's going. Oh no. Okay, wait. Put that tear back in there. I watched the video and she said that crying does take away from a message because it makes it about you. So I will not. Because this message
Mm,
isn't about me, it's about all the people that are being impacted right now.
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
see I
yeah.
see it.
Well, feel those feelings, let those tears go. But yeah, we both live here in LA, and I don't live. I mean, LA is massive, so for anybody that doesn't live in LA, they don't realize how big Los Angeles is. Not just the city, but also the county. My mom lives in another state, and it's made national news what's going on here, and she texted me asking if I was okay, if I was safe. I live very far away from, everything that's going on. So I am not, everything's safe here, everything's normal here. In my neighborhood. I don't watch the news, so I wouldn't have known except for, receiving information from other people that I know personally telling me what's going on. Um, and I'm very big on humanity and empathy, and I I can't say that, I condone any kind of violence or cruelty, because I don't. I think it's wrong. We are all one collective sharing, this human experience. Um, and I'm very much, one love, one unity, one peace, type of person. And I think that uh the news is designed to be sensationalism that divides us and that doesn't speak to the entire truth. So I can't really speak too much on what exactly is happening and what the facts of those cases are, because I I don't watch the news. I don't dive into, the political sphere. It's just it holds no interest for me. But I think it is important to speak out on, not condoning violence and ripping people away from each other. But I also think, we live in a country where we welcome people of all cultures, all creeds, all religions to come together to this country to produce a common goal for, life, of happiness, security. You should be able to build your own wealth. You should be able to feel safe in your home and your community. You should be able to feed yourself, and you should have health. And you should be able to afford the things that you want to afford. I think that's, what's beautiful about America is that you can come from all over the world. That's why my ancestors have come to this country, because they wanted to build a life that they couldn't in their own countries. And we also have like laws in place that allow people to come to this country, but we also have due process. And we are supposed to be a shining beacon to the rest of the world about how we treat other people. And I think it comes from a very deep spiritual perspective that you can't treat people badly. Um, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. you know, we're all one consciousness living this human experience, and you have to treat people the way that you want to be treated is the golden rule, and I stand by that. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you don't want to be treated like garbage, then don't treat other people like garbage. It's a deep spiritual war that we have going on, and it's deeply concerning.
I agree.
That's
I agree. It is deeply concerning.
yeah. Um,
This was deep,
yeah,
but it was
yeah,
necessary, and I am sending my love to everyone that's being affected by this. I'm sending my love to myself too, because it's just a lot. And given just because of the neighborhood that I live in, there could be a chance that I actually have to see these things like in real time happening in my own neighborhood. So that's why it's very heavy on my heart. But I am out here trying to figure out what we can do to help. And in the, I'm thinking in the caption, we can post maybe like just some resources about this.
yeah, yeah. I think I think having resources available to people, um, is very important, and I think that we also have to be mindful of not getting caught up in the political sphere. It's whatever side you're on, it's two sides of the same coin, in my opinion. I think that there's, no point in getting so wrapped up and emotionally charged in, the political side of anything. I think it comes down to, empathy. I think it comes down to compassion, and I think it comes down to, you know, being a good human. And so having resources for people, aren't sure what to do. And also it's important to take the time, like, even though there's everything going on and it feels wrong to take the time to yourself to regenerate, to turn off the news, to disconnect from everything, you have to. You have to disconnect from everything in order to preserve your own sanity and your own mental health. If you can't pour from an empty cup, so you have to be willing to take the time to give yourself self-care and, that mental well-being and that emotional well-being so that you can help other people. Um, that's just my 2 cents. You have to be willing to take care of yourself and disconnect to be able to help other people.
I agree with you. You can't pour from an empty cup. I do want to say to the people, because I feel like disconnecting can kind of be a luxury at times, so I don't want to overlook the people that really just can't, like they have no choice but to look. And I think for those people, all we can do is one, send prayers, send our love, and send our thoughts and our healing. Or if you are someone that is relating to what I'm saying right now, if you feel comfortable, let us know in the comments. Like, drop your email or something. I'll email you. If you need support or you need like encouragement, or sometimes you just need someone to listen to you cry, like I said, this is more than a podcast. It's a community, and that's what we're working towards and striving towards, and that's really important to me. Like that's so 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 important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Let us know in the comments, drop us your email, if you're looking for, support in some way. I mean, I'd like to think that we are both, very caring, empathetic humans who want to help other people. That's in our essence. And so if you're somebody that needs support, please reach out. Let us know how we can help. Um, and we'll do what we can. Um, and I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole in this conversation about everything that's going on, but yeah, if you need support, like Ariana said, drop us a line. We want to build this community where it's a safe space to share what's going on, what's on your heart, and have real discussions about the hard topics, the truth, the meat, of it all. And yeah, I think that's both what we're striving for. There's a lot of nuance in everything, and it's tough to have those conversations, but you can't heal and build real community and build, solid relationships without having very in-depth, nuanced conversations and really understanding
Yeah,
another person's view and what's going on with them without having those conversations. It's tough, but you got to do it, and you got to come to it with an empathy and understanding and, love first.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
This was a good one. This was a good episode. I feel I feel released. To be honest, you guys, we were supposed to film yesterday, but I needed time to process. I live really close to downtown, and like Jack said, LA is a big place. LA is huge. Like LA is one of those places where you need to come explore it for yourself. Because I find even with when the fires were happening, where I'm getting messages like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I don't live anywhere near there, but I know
Yeah.
people that do." And but people aren't aware of just how big the city and like going into the county, like it's I haven't even
Yeah.
explored all of Los Angeles, to be honest, and I've lived
Yeah.
here my whole life.
I've been here 6 years and I still haven't been most places because it's so massive. It's the size of the population and the square mileage alone is so massive that there are some, you know, like there's some states that don't even have as many people as we have in LA County. Um, and so, and it's also important to like the areas that are experiencing protests and general upset are very minute compared to the entire city as a whole. Just like with the fires, I mean, yes, those were massive areas that burned, but it was still, I mean, aside from the air quality, it was still safe. You weren't in danger of, it wasn't like it was burning down. LA is not burning down right now. If you're planning on visiting, yes, you can absolutely still visit. You can come to the beach. You can do all of the things. There's just certain areas of downtown that, are blocked off right now that are experiencing, a lot of things going on. So, it's not the entire city. I feel like, once again, the news with its sensationalism wants to, make it seem like the entire city is burning. It's not. LA is fine. It's safe. It's, there's just a lot of things going on. Um, and I hope that, there's some empathy and compassion, um, introduced immediately and the situation calms, because there's no good from uh, heightened emotional states. There's no good from violence. There's no good from that comes from you know cruelty. Yeah, there's
I
no good
agree.
that comes.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Oh,
heavy
so
it's
how
a
are you
heavy
feeling
topic.
about this episode?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's
good.
heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's hard to talk about because you also don't want to feel like you're alienating anyone. You don't want to feel like you're saying the wrong thing. I think it's hard to speak out about something that's so polarized without feeling like you're alienating people or making people feel a certain way. Especially since we're building something new, we're building this community. Um, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, these girls aren't a safe space. We can't connect with them. We, we definitely want to, you know, make people feel safe with us.
That's the goal.
We're intuitives, um, and our job is to, create a safe space for people to heal and to get to know their spiritual selves better. And all the rest is, yeah.
I agree. And no, I love that. How do you feel about wrapping up the episode for today?
Let's do it. Go for it. Lead us
Okay.
out.
Okay, so hey, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 4. I hope you enjoyed, getting to know us a little better, learning our origin story, and also I hope you feel seen and understood by some of the heavier topics that we did discuss. But yeah, this is the end of episode 4, and I'm Ari, and this is Jax. And Jax, say your final words.
Yes, yes. I mean, thank you so much to everybody that has watched. I know, we kind of had a broad conversation today, letting you guys know more about us, our origin stories, who we are, what we do. And we also discussed a really heavy current topic that's going on. And I hope that we've created a safe community where you can share what's going on with you and that you can share your lives with us, just like we're sharing our lives with you. So thank you so much for everyone who has watched. Please drop us a comment, like and share, subscribe, all of the things that social media allows you to do. And yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. It's been so wonderful to talk to you, Ariana.
Thank you guys. See you next time in episode 5. Bye.